think the fact that Jokic and Jamal Murray have the most experience as a duo in these top five, top six teams is going to give them a big advantage. I think their ability to be competitive on both sides of the ball now that they have Peyton Watson and Aaron Gordon showing their defensive tools, I think that's going to be a really good sign for them in the long term. And I would say matchup wise, maybe maybe I would say and OKC and Minnesota are probably their toughest matchups because I think Minnesota is the most balanced out of all the teams in the top five and top six right now. And I think OKC has the confidence of already beating them in a 7 game series. Same with Minnesota. And they have the confidence in being better than them in both of these matchups, regardless of injuries, because both of them have been injured when they've matched up. So it's not been an injury situation going on either end. So I think OKC and Minnesota would give them the toughest trouble because I think the issue with what's it called San Antonio is that because Wemby can't respond offensively the way that Jokic can, I think that dynamic is definitely going to get taken advantage of. And I just have a few questions about how San Antonio is going to be able to respond to Aaron Gordon and Peyton Watson with guards that don't have that playoff experience, like Castle Harper. And Fox haven't been in any playoff series. And matching up with Denver, especially with a guy like Aaron Gordon, who has a ton of playoff experience and is a really physical defender, I could see a series or I could see a situation where one of those offensive guys is a no-show. And not because they're not talented, but because it can be really hard to adapt to playoff competition and playoff pressure when you have another team that has a talented defender matching up with you. So we'll see how that ends up going. I know San Antonio also has talented defenders, so maybe that applies both ways. But I think Denver would actually be a really difficult matchup for San Antonio in the long term, especially because no one is going to be able to really shut down Jokic. Like Wemby, I know he's the best defender in the world, but Jokic, he has a different dynamic to him on the offensive end that I don't know if Wemby's going to be able to impact as much. Because you saw this with Sengun too, where I know Houston hasn't gotten the better of San Antonio, but Sengun has played really well against Jokic and Zion, who's another physical big power forward, has played really good against Zion. And Jokic is one of the most physical players in the NBA and is obviously up there for the most talented offensive player. So I don't know if Wemby's defense, I would say out of all the matchups, I think Wemby's defense would be the least impactful in a series against Denver. So I think Denver would have a better opportunity against them than they would against Minnesota or against OKC. So we'll see how that ends up going. Minnesota's got a pretty good lead right now. They're up 12. And yeah, we'll just keep on seeing how this ends up shaking out. Will we get a big fourth quarter from